103.5 FM.
Every breath we take is precious. What happens when the air you breathe turns into a silent enemy? This is the story of Ada, a mother, a wife, a fighter. Ada, you've been coughing for weeks now, and it's getting worse.
It's just the weather, David. You know how it is this time of the year.
Please, let's see a doctor. For me, at least, or for the kids, sef.
Okay, fine. Tomorrow.
Good afternoon, Ada. We've run some tests actually, and I'm afraid it's more than just a persistent cough. You have early stage lung cancer.
Lung cancer? But I don't even smoke now.
Oh, my dear, I know it's a lot to take in. Lung cancer can affect anyone. Environmental factors, genetics, they all play a role. So it's not only smoking.
So, doctor, what are our options?
Mr. David, there is hope actually. With treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, and lifestyle changes, we can fight this, but we need to start immediately.
Nurse, I'm actually tired but hopeful. I have to be fine for my family.
You're actually stronger than you think, you know. One step at a time, one breath at a time.
Alright, so anyone listening, if you are facing this battle, know that you are not alone. I'm learning to breathe again, not just with my lungs but with my heart. And each breath is a gift worth fighting for.
For more health tips, join the Radio Doctor on Hana 103.5 FM. Thank you for listening.
On 103.5 FM.
Nice. I take it one. Arabam.
Without doctor's prescription, Montenma, all on doctor's attention. If you need solution, Montenma, too much is given, much is expected.
Hello and welcome to Radio Clinic on Ano 103.5 FM. This is your one-stop shop for health tips and advice on radio. And today's health talk is something that is quite interesting. I know you are also pumped for it. Of course, you listen to that Radio Dharma, and we'll get into what we have for today's health tips and advice on Radio Clinic on Ano 103.5 FM. Today, my name is Anoluapo Idowu, and I'm your radio CMD. Ah, well, you can scratch that. So before we get into what we have for today, from November 1st to 30th of November is always a day to create awareness about cancer. And of course, November 1 to 30 is for Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, also Lung Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Stomach Cancer Awareness Month and Prostate Cancer Awareness Month as well. Prostate Health Month. Of course, those are the big awareness month we have. Of course, they're talking about the diseases, the problems we have medically and health-wise, and those are the problems we are going to be tackling. But of essence today, we are going to be focused on just one angle of the cancer, which is of course very prevalent even in this climate. We would get into that. You can make your guess. You can start guessing which one. Of course, you can also join this conversation, and probably if you have questions, we'll take it as well, because we have a doctor who's going to help us into some of these issues. So today, finally, we are talking about fighting cancer together. And of course, this is your trusted source for accurate information, expert advice, and real stories about the fight against cancer. So now, today, we are focusing on a disease that affects millions worldwide, which is, of course, cancer, like we know it to be. Did you know also that according to the World Health Organization, cancer is one of the leading causes of death globally, responsible for nearly 10 million deaths in 2020 alone? And that's 1 in 6 deaths worldwide. You see, that's the more reason we need to talk about it, and we will do justice to that today. But it's not all grim news. Around 30 to 50% of cancer cases can be prevented through lifestyle changes, early detection, and timely treatment. From lung cancer, the most common cancer-related killer, to breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer, awareness and action are our strongest weapons in this fight, which is why Honor FM has decided to bring up this particular edition of the broadcast. So stay tuned as we explore the latest advancement in cancer research and probably hear from people who have been in the practice of medical profession to help us into what to do, how to escape from all of this, and if you have a problem, how to solve it, because knowledge is power, and together we can fight cancer one step at a time. So I'll get us straight into a brief of statistics that I have with me 2024. First off, lung cancer remains a leading global health challenge, accounting for the highest number of cancer-related deaths worldwide. And here are some key statistics as well that we can use. According to global incidence and mortality, in 2023, lung cancer accounted for approximately 1.8 million deaths, making up about 18% of all cancer-related deaths globally, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. And the ASCO post, it also remains the most commonly diagnosed cancer in men and the second most common in women. That's talking about ASCO, that's ASCO post as well. The risk factors of this, smoking is the leading cause, responsible for around 85 to 90% of all lung cancer cases, and that's according to World Health Organization as well, that smoking is the leading cause. So if you have a friend who smokes, or perhaps you do, I might want to take a listen to this particular broadcast because it is actually for you and for your health, and not just for you alone, for people that need you to survive and to be alive. Other major risk factors include exposure to secondhand smoke, random gas, occupational hazards like asbestos, and air pollution. I think a lot of people identify with these. Some people don't smoke, but they stay around people who smoke. You're also in trouble. You are in for it as well. Because in fact, it has been also confirmed that people who don't smoke, who are second-hand smokers, have more liabilities, or they are more susceptible as well, as just as a person that is smoking directly. So even if you're not a smoker, but you walk, you troop, you sit around smokers, you have a high chance of also having lung cancers and all of these lung-related or airborne-related diseases as a person. Now, away from that, just to bring us into perspective as well, geographical and socioeconomic variations. Lung cancer rates are significantly higher in regions with higher smoking prevalence. I know some areas you can mention. I don't want to mention the areas, not to shade anybody, but if you know the areas, some of you, I don't want to say some areas in night. Some people know their way around nighttime and nightlife, and that's probably where they get that kind of risk. Of course, it's very, very risky in those regions. Meanwhile, socioeconomic factors play a major role, with individuals of lower socioeconomic status experiencing higher lung cancer incidence and mortality rates due to limited access to healthcare and higher smoking rates. Just to bring us further into that perspective as well, it's not just smoking. It's just not smoking what we know as those banned and contraband products as well, but it's also staying around places where they are cooking, places where they are cooking with firewood. There's also a chance of you probably getting, and people who build houses, we use asbestos. Those dust from asbestos are very, very serious. They are very I don't want to say cancerous, because they can actually lead to cancer as well, but they are carcinogens, maybe, if we can call them that. Of course, a declining mortality rate, but thanks to advances in early detection and treatment, which is where we'll start the conversation from, because it's one good thing to know, and knowledge, they say, is actually the best that you can have in this kind of situation, because once you can detect early, there's a chance that it can be corrected. If you probably stop the lifestyle that you've been engaging in, the habits that you've been engaging in for a while, that's one. If you detect that there are signs and symptoms of cancer, maybe like coughing, deep one, and some other ones, they are still related, symptoms that we'll treat a bit of them today. So of course, if you detect early and you start treatment early, that is one. And lung cancer mortality rates have declined by about 59% in men and 36% in women since the 1990s. And from 2017 to 2021, the annual decline in death rate averaged 4%, and that's according to a cancer therapy advisor with World Health Organization as well. But the global trends, as the population ages, the number of lung cancer cases is expected to rise, with cancer diagnosis projected to reach 35 million by 2050 if current trends continue. And one of the things we can do to help ourselves is to prevent and screen. Preventative measures like tobacco cessation. That's like stopping the use of tobacco or the taking of tobacco. You must at least stop it for a while, even not for a while, stop it forever. Because you can actually do without it. If you feel like you cannot, go to a rehab. There are rehabs who would help you to work on this. And reducing exposure to environmental carcinogens as well, just like we've been mentioning, the carbon monoxide. Some people just said, I remember one of my friends called me one day, and then she was saying that she likes staying in places where vehicles are passing because she likes the fume that come out of vehicles. And sometimes she says she stays around generators and plants. So whenever they put it on, the smoke, that fume, the exhaust that comes out of it, she likes perceiving it. And I said, this is not good for you. So if you are in that radar as well, you need to also listen to this to probably work on it as well. Meanwhile, to still move on to talk about every other thing, we'll still try to do as much. And so today, to get us into the conversation proper, I would have with me in the studio today to join us on this conversation, Dr. Bamiboye Tony. Good afternoon to you, Doctor. Hello, good afternoon to you, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's so good to have you. How is it going there?
Fine. Sorry, I'm still trying to just settle in.
All right. But can we start the conversation now?
Can you give me like 2 minutes? Sorry.
All right, we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
All right, so like I was saying, prevention and screening is very important. Preventative measures like tobacco cessation and reducing exposure to environmental carcinogens and implementing early screening programs like low-dose CT scans for high-risk individuals can significantly reduce lung cancer incidents and improve survival rates. That's according to the World Health Organization. So we'll also still explore some more and ask the question, because some people would ask, what is lung cancer and how common is it worldwide? I think I've given some data to support that. It's quite common, and for most of the people who don't get to use the hospital frequently, they have this problem because they don't get to know that they have that as a problem. So it's actually a big problem that you don't really have a problem. So the first thing to do is first to concentrate on your lifestyle habits, some of the things you do on a regular basis, day-to-day activities. Like some people like smoking every day. Some would say without smoke they cannot be happy. Without smoke they cannot do all sort of things. Some said they get their motivation, inspiration. But remember that your health, your body is not getting that much motivation that you're thinking. So if you think your head is getting motivation, what about your body? Consider your health as well.
immortalize your potential. On the sound of times and your initial.
Yes, we are still talking about lung cancer today, creating awareness for lung cancer and every form of cancer. But most importantly today, specifically, we are focusing on lung cancer. And to join the conversation, I'll put out the studio lines to call 091-510-35555. Someone said I'm too fast. Okay, I'll be slow. A bit now. 091-510-35555 or 070-480-01035. We'll have the studio lines to join the conversation today as well to get us into. I will join Dr. Obamigboye Oluwatoni as well, but I will be shortly after this commercial break. Join us again on 103.5 FM Radio Clinic.
On 103.5 FM.
òdodo lọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá tó sọ pé bàbá dóko bàbá ẹlòmíì rí a ní kò sóko tó jókòó bàbá ẹni lọ. ìgbà tí mo dé Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites ni mo fìdí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí múlẹ̀ láìsí àní-àní ìgbádùn ṣodo síbi kan ju bìkan lọ. Subcam is centrally located in a secure environment that gives you rest of mind anytime, any day. At Subcam, our goal is to offer our guests a comfortable, affordable, and exceptional accommodation. There is also event and conference hall for all locations with watertight security. Our restaurant serves local and continental cuisines. Assorted drinks are also available in our bar whenever you want it, alongside Wi-Fi coverage and top-notch laundry with other facilities too numerous to mention. Seeing is believing. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites is at Plot 3, Mechanics Key, opposite New Garage, off Ijebode Road, Ibadan, your state. Telephone 090-6466-7569. Subcam Leading Hotel and Suites. In hospitality, we lead.
In continuation of the celebration of the 80th birthday of Dr. Yemi Farumbi, a Nigerian media icon, the Ibadan Discourse Group invites all to Yemi Farumbi at 80 lecture with the theme, The Future and Challenges of the Nigerian Nation, to be delivered by Dr. Kayode Fayemi, CON, former governor of Ekiti State. Chairman of the occasion is Professor Tunde Adeniro, former Minister of Education. Date Thursday, December 5, 2024. Venue, the Law Hub Hall, opposite Iyaganku Roundabout, Ring Road, Ibadan. Time, 11 a.m. prompt. For inquiries, call 080-3720-3138.
Are you ready to walk with purpose, walk with pride? It's time for Walk with Honor 2.0. Mark your calendars, December 7th, 2024. Join thousands of participants as we take to the streets in a celebration of fitness, unity, and community spirit. Whether you're walking for health, for fun, or for the love of honor, this is your event. Together, we'll make strides toward a healthier and stronger tomorrow. Don't miss the chance to be part of something bigger. Invite your friends, family, and colleagues. Lace up your sneakers and let's walk together with honor. Remember, December 7th, 2024. Walk with Honor 2.0. Stay tuned to Honor 103.5 FM for updates. Let's make this walk unforgettable.
On 103.5 FM.
Ribi, nice. Atikewa, and Arabambi.
Olóyún àpẹẹrẹ láì ṣiṣẹ́ abẹ ewé ń jẹ́ ogun Logun without doctor's prescription. Montenma, call on doctor's attention if you need solution.
You're still listening to Radio Clinic on Honor 103.5 FM, and we are discussing lung cancer today. So I have on set with me, joining me on this very particular program is Dr. Bamiboye Oluwatoni. Hello, good afternoon to you, Doctor.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right. So let's get straight into it. I know people have asked a lot of questions even before now. What exactly are the leading causes of lung cancer, and how significant is smoking as a risk factor as well?
Okay. The major leading cause of lung cancer is smoking. Whether you're the primary smoker or you're the secondary smoker, in terms of, or even if you don't smoke but you hang out around people that smoke, you're equally inhaling part of the carcinogenous substances. So you're equally exposing yourself to smoking. Another risk factor that could happen is maybe what some materials that a person works with, such as asbestos, can also be carcinogenic. So this might not even happen to a person this person might not even be smoking, but the person can eventually come down with lung cancer if the person is continually exposed to these carcinogens like asbestos, like arsenic. Then also another risk factor that could lead to lung cancer is if the person has a family history of lung cancer. It's also possible that the person comes down with lung cancer even without smoking.
All right, it seems like you've encapsulated my questions together, because I was going to ask you further questions about what are the early symptoms of lung cancer, and that's exactly where we go now. So what do I need to look out for if I don't want to go into I don't want to get out of myself, but what are the symptoms? What are the first few symptoms I would see if I'm having? I would never have that, but anyway, if someone is having, what are the first symptoms the person would have?
The person, you will see that maybe the person starts to cough a lot, might cough up blood. Then the person might also have some difficulties in breathing. The person might also come down with chest pain, as well as you just see that this person is losing weight loss too. Could also be a sign that this person might have lung cancer. And definitely it's with proper because I'm not saying that if you just see this signs, you now say, oh, I have lung cancer automatically, but this could be pointers to lung cancer.
Okay, get us into the implication. What's the medical implication of lung cancer? Does it mean my lungs get bigger? What exactly is happening in my internal organs?
Okay, so what happens is basically your lungs sort of change the form they are in, and so put in layman's terms, they're not able to carry out the function that it normally would. And another thing about it is that because it's cancer, so it's very possible for it to easily spread to other places. Yeah.
So from the lungs to something else?
Yeah, it could spread to the other places.
All right.
Apart from the lungs, yes.
All right. I was going to ask you for the solution to that, but I don't want to get out of myself, like I said earlier, also, because I know cancer is like a mass, like a growth that is much. Maybe their cells are reproducing. Is that reproducing? What do they call it? They're differentiating.
Like an abnormal growth.
Exactly. So there's a mass. All right.
Usually what happens is, for instance, our body helps us to control. There's something we call apoptosis, programmed cell death. So usually there's a balance between, we're producing cells, and then some cells eventually have to die. But then sometimes with lung cancer, there's something we call DNA that is in our cells, and DNA is like our genetic makeup. So if there is a mutation in it, perhaps, so that particular cell can just start to over-replicate. And so cancer is basically an abnormal growth of cells, yeah.
Well, that's very educative. But let's get it further now. So I was saying that if there's a mass, like a tumor or a cancer cell in some part of the body, maybe like the breast, we know that they cut it off. But we cannot cut our lungs. Can we? Can we?
You can actually cut a part.
A part of the lungs?
Yes.
Say, you know, go they leak like this. I hope my lungs will not be leaking. I mean the person's lungs. But before we get to that part, we got to the solution part. But, help us into this prevention and risk reduction questions now. How can individuals reduce the risk of developing lung cancer? Just in few words, what do you think would be the striking point?
Okay, so since we know that, at least for now, West Science, you know that the major cause of lung cancer is through smoking. And the primary reason why smoking causes it is because in cigarettes, we have some carcinogens, and tobacco, which is also like a major ingredient in making cigarettes, carcinogenic, and so because of that, it can cause mutations in the lung cells. So majorly, the major thing is that one avoids smoking. Whether you are the one smoking yourself or being around smokers, you should just try to avoid it as much as possible. Yes, because that's like the major thing.
All right. Thank you so very much for that as well. Still on something like that. So, how can an individual reduce that risk, especially exposure to environmental toxins? Just like we know that it's not just smoking, maybe direct smoking now. So, what role does air pollution and exposure to environmental toxins, what role do they play in lung cancer, and how can we, help ourselves from that?
Oh, it plays a role, especially some of them, and some that readily come to mind are asbestos, arsenic, that are carcinogenic. And so I think one thing we could do is that we should try to maybe avoid, when we know that, okay, this can cause, we try to avoid being around it. But I also understand that sometimes it may not be avoidable. So maybe also a good part would also be making sure that industries are not built near residential areas. I think that would also go along with, especially industries that deal with chemicals like this, making sure that they are far away from where residents are, and even people working in those places.
Exactly.
They should make the companies they're working in should try to make sure that they do a pre-screening for the person, like before the person works, and then they do a continual screen of the person even while the person is working. So like maybe like have regular x-rays, regular investigations done on the person, just to know that, okay, is this person fine, is this person doing okay, are there any changes? Yeah, I think that could at least help reduce it. And also the exposure time to these radioactive substances or carcinogenic substances, if it's reduced for the workers that have to work there.
Okay, that takes me on to the next question I would ask you. How much do I need to ingest to have lung cancer?
Oh, that's a very big question. At least because we have different, because the thing about it is that some people will smoke all their life and they will never come down with lung cancer.
Okay, because I was yes, that's very important. People use that as an excuse to keep smoking. They say doctors smoke. So I mean, like, what's the big deal?
Yeah, and then some will just smoke a few years and they come down with lung cancer. And then some won't smoke at all, but they will just hang out around friends that smoke and come down with lung cancer. And some won't even go near cigarettes so much and still come down with lung cancer. So also, I think our genetic makeup might have a role to also play in development of lung cancer in different, but just the same way it is also in different cancers, that if despite some people not being exposed to the risk factors, they still come down with cancers. So I right now I don't think I'll be able to say, oh, this is the amount of exposure that one can have, but I guess one thing I can say for sure is that please just try to avoid these things that can cause it, especially smoking.
Headline news: Dr. Bamigboye says avoid smoking.
Sorry?
No, don't mind. I'm just trying to make headline news for this as well. That you are saying that we should avoid
from smoking. Stay away from smoking.
Absolutely, that's taken. Okay, now moving on to the next question. Now, how effective are smoking cessation programs in preventing lung cancer? I know there are many rehabilitation centers across. There are many people who are trying to work on this, trying to create an atmosphere for people who smoke, maybe to get them back to shape. But exactly, how effective are smoking cessation programs in preventing lung cancer?
How effective are the programs?
Yeah. In programs of cessation, smoking cessation, maybe in a confined space where they try to help them to not smoke as much, maybe once in a while. And then, I don't know how best they do it, but of course, these kind of programs exist. So how effective are they, smoking cessation programs, in preventing lung cancer?
I think a large part of the effectiveness in eventually preventing is how willing the people, because these things sometimes when people are addicted to smoking, and addiction sometimes is a bit difficult to break. So it's also sort of boils down to, okay, these people that are part of this program, how willing are they to also stop smoking, and eventually how many of them stop smoking? Because if after the program they have relapses and they go back into it, it's not really going to reduce the percentage. But if they do stop smoking, when a person that ceases smoking, at least you're reducing the chances of it leading to lung cancer. If the goal of the program is achieved in these people, there will actually be a reduction in people that actually cease from smoking. There will be a reduced percentage of it turning into lung cancer.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. Of course, you can join the conversation on 091-510-35555. Should you have questions for Dr. Bamiboy in the house today, or 070-480-01035. Those are the numbers to join the conversation. Also on Facebook and on 103.5 FM. That's where to join us. You can also listen via Radio Garden app and get your comment through to us, and I'll read your comment, your questions also for the doctor in the house as well. So before we get into the next segment of the program, I know there are a lot of people asking me this question, really. I know there are screening processes for lung cancer detection and probably treatment. So I would ask you that what does the screening process involve? But that will be shortly after this commercial break. Join us again on Honor 103.5 FM Radio Go.
Honor 103.5 FM.
Ìgbà ọ̀tún ti dé nídìí ṣíṣètò ìrìn àjò lọ sókè òkun sáwọn ìlú bíi USA, UK, Canada àti Ireland. Lára àwọn tó máa ń mú rẹ̀wẹ̀sì ọkàn bá ẹni tó bá fẹ́ rìnrìn àjò ní owó tí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ san fún àwọn ẹ́jẹ̀ǹtì àti iléeṣẹ́ tí yóò ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Àmọ́ pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ Study Across Globe, ẹ ò nílò owó àsánlẹ̀. Kódà ẹ ò ní san kọ́bọ̀ lẹ́yìn tí gbogbo ètò àti study visa yín bá jáde. Ẹ ó gba ìtọ́nisọ́nà lórí gbígba visa, yíyan iléèwé àtàbálẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ àti àmọ̀ràn lórí iṣẹ́, ẹnu owó iléèwé, owó ìwé ìrìnnà àtàwọn míì bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ ó san sókè òkun. Travel to study with Study Across Globe. Application processing fee is 100% free. That means you will get visa assistance, course selection advice, scholarship assistance, and career counseling without paying a dime. Call 0907-793-5356 or 0907-848-3462. Awani Damin Plaza, number 42, MKO Abiola Way, Ring Road, Ibadan. Our head office is located at number 73, Oluwatobi House, Allen, Ikeja. On Instagram, we are at Study Across the Globe.
Are you ready to walk with purpose, walk with pride? It's time for Work with Honor 2.0. Mark your calendars, December 7th, 2024. Join thousands of participants as we take to the streets in a celebration of fitness, unity, and community spirit. Whether you're walking for health, for fun, or for the love of honor, this is your event. Together, we'll make strides toward a healthier and stronger tomorrow. Don't miss the chance to be part of something bigger. Invite your friends, family, and colleagues. Lace up your sneakers and let's walk together with honor. Remember, December 7th, 2024. Walk with Honor 2.0. Stay tuned to Honor 103.5 FM for updates. Let's make this walk unforgettable.
Merry Christmas. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Your darling station, Honor 103.5 FM, desires to be a part of this year's Christmas celebrations with your school.
Proprietors, principals of public and private schools, be part of this honorable season offer to showcase your school program and activities live at Honor 103.5 FM.
Your students have the opportunity to send Christmas wishes to their loved ones on radio daily.
That's not all. Your school Christmas party will be held on Honor 103.5 FM.
So what are you waiting for?
Call Tokwe now on 081-6184-2577 or call Anu on 081-6154-3524. Honor 103.5 FM. We love Christmas parties.
Ho, ho, ho. This year, your school Christmas party must be heard.
Honor 103.5 FM, your integrity station.
Ho, ho, ho.
Honor 103.5 FM.
History Radio Clinic, another 103.5 FM. Your one-stop shop for health advices, health tips, and all that you can use for yourself. And medically, we have doctors who help us into some of the problems we have, maybe problems that are common, of course, and we are trying to get that into the pill. But today we are focused on lung cancer, and that's what we've been discussing with Dr. Bami Boye Oluwatoni this morning, and of course she's been helping us this afternoon. I mean, to dissect some of these questions that we have outlined for her. I think before we went on the break, welcome back, Dr. Tony.
Yes.
All right. So let's.
Thank you so much.
Oh, okay, good. Now, I was asking you about the screening, of course, before we went on that break. Would you like to respond and react to that?
Okay, so the screening test that could be done is that one can do a CT scan, which is computed tomography, basically. So it's like a machine that like you lie down for it, and then then it kind of like brings it's kind of like gives an image of your lungs, like in form of on a film rather. So it's basically like we are able to see inside of your lungs and have a pointer that okay, this is going on here.
That sounds scary. Does it enter into my body?
No, it doesn't enter. It's just okay. It's kind of like a bit of radiation.
Okay. So it doesn't have to penetrate into the skin.
It's not painful. It's nothing like that. You just lie down and stuff like that, and then that's it. And then you just lie down for some minutes, and easy and not painful.
All right. I'll take that from you. I mean, if anybody complains, I'll call you because you said it's not painful.
You call the radiologist for the person.
All right. So help us into this. What are the current treatment options for lung cancer? Just to round up this session.
Okay, so there is pulmonectomy. That you can remove a part of the lungs, maybe if the side affected. Then you could also do chemotherapy, and this is the use of chemotherapeutic drugs. And chemotherapeutic drugs are like drugs that can be used like for cancer, like things like that. You can use like a combination of them to help with it. And also, one can also use radiotherapy for it, to kind of like target those cells, the cancer.
Okay, one more shot at that. How do treatment options differ? Because I've heard, I think I was doing my research, my study, I realized that there's early stage and there's advanced stage. So how does the treatment options, how do they differ? How does it differ from early stage and then the advanced stage lung cancer case?
Okay, so basically at the early stage, if it's something that we can still just remove that part of it, so you just remove it, or maybe you could just remove it. But if it's already at the late stage and this might not be possible, you might want to just go for maybe chemotherapy instead or other options. So based on the extent of it, that okay, this is the most appropriate treatment based on what you see. This is the most appropriate treatment for this cancer.
All right.
At this stage.
All right. Okay, it's just to give emotional and social aspect of this particular drive now. How can families and caregivers, how do you think they can support their loved ones who is diagnosed with lung cancer? Is it a card into the death zone? Does it mean you are going to die? Does it mean it's like every other cancer disease that is almost killable? What exactly is my lot? What do I stand for?
Well, I guess just like every other cancer, it depends on how early.
But it's not a death sentence, is it? Is it a death sentence like every other one?
It could be a death sentence. Yes, it could be a death sentence. Depending on, because if it's already at the very late stage, there's little that can be done. You might just want to just palliate the person at least. Palliative care is like just making sure the person, like end of life care sort of, that the person doesn't have much pain and things like that from the cancer. But depending on the extent it is, because it can actually be quite devastating for family members, for the caregivers.
Yeah.
Because at some point you might need to face the reality that, this person, there's only so much medicine can do for this person at that point in time. So it's good to have very direct conversations. Like not try to like hide how far gone the cancer is from the family members, so as to prepare them, especially when it's at the late stage, prepare them for
the eventualities.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Before we stretch it further, before we advance and probably round up this session, help us into this based on your experience. What do you think governments can do to ensure better access to lung cancer screening and treatment, especially in this part of the world?
Lung cancer screening and treatment. Okay.
And even advocacy as well. What do you think government can do?
Okay, I think that a large reason why, or I don't like to say large, since I don't really have my figures, but I think it's quite, I think that a reason why sometimes we see that people develop diseases and don't know early on is because sometimes people don't go to the hospitals because they can't afford the cost of medical care. So I